doing this because it's a legacy. It's a legacy of my elders, my forebears, that come from that little hill over there. That gave me the legacies and showed me the land and the waters. So that's important to me, people. Now I will ask Bunja to welcome you, and then we will do a minute silence.
Hello. Hello. My name is Bunja. I'm a Walbunja elder. The land upon which we now stand or sit was once a part of the Walbunja land and still is. We were essentially a sea people and a mountain people, and we came across the mountains into this land. Our totem is the sea eagle, which is the banner over the tribe. My totem is a bumburak. He's a little fella, you've probably seen him around this area. You're a cheeky little fella, he'd come out and look at you. The bumburak, he's a lizard, very small fella. That's my particular totem. I'm very honoured and privileged to invite you and to welcome the country today to the Two Fires Festival. And we were talking to a reporter earlier on who asked the question about what is the Two Fires. There's a lot of answers to that. There's the two fires of the old and the new. There's the two fires of the past and the present. There's the two fires of the arts and the activism. When you think about it, the more you think about it, the more you'll realise the two fires that are burning. I personally believe that this festival will grow like a fire, and it will grow very big. And one day we'll need a bigger park. But for now, in the Thurga language, which is the language of my people, Umalaga, Indigada, Aibani, Wabanja, Bunkata, Urad, Bundu, Walu. I invite you to come and sit by the river and enjoy two cultures in Walbunja land. Hello! She's here now. This is the senior elder of the Walbunja people. She's the one with the fingerprints in my back, said, you get out there and do welcome to country.
Hi.
Johnny Coop.
It's called pushing, you know. Now, I would just like this minute silence of the people that has started to initiate this Two Fires Festival in these modern times. I want to pay my deepest respect to the lady who done the writing, Judith Wright. I want to do my respect to Val Plumwood, who has been instrumental in the Two Fires Festival. I want to pay my respect to Martin Mulligan, who first called me on the first Two Fires Festival. I want to pay my respect to all the white elders that were there and done this village. And most of all, I want to pay my respect to my ancestors who are now gone, but left us the legacy to carry on our tradition, so that the spirit of the land keeps on. So I would just ask for that minute silence. Thank you, sister. Now while Kurukara wind spirit is not blowing so much, we might have a chance in getting this fire going. But I need to give you people some words just to think about the fire. Just 2 words. Simple. Can you say Shulaman?
Shulaman.
I never heard you.
Shulaman.
Bapa.
Baba.
Give us those 2 words again.
Shulaman. Baba.
Can't you say it like this? Shulaman Bapa.
Shulaman Baba.
See, because she's calling on someone now. You're calling on someone to switch the power on, give that ignition. Shulaman Bapa.
Shulaman Baba.
So we need that going as this young man here. This young man here. To go and get this fire. Yeah.
Shulaman Baba. 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 Shulaman Baba.
Oh, I'm getting too old. I'm getting too old. It's just cold mountain air.
Yeah, the wind kept shifting.
Only slow. Where's the
There's the fire. Whoa.
Make it bigger, make it bigger.
Make you appreciate it, man. Make you appreciate it. Make you appreciate it.
Garin in the name tuju mo berono. Garin in the name. Garin in the name tuju mo berono. Garin in the name tuju mo berono. Garin in the name tuju
To the children waiting. Yeah, the children are waiting. Breaking our mother's heart, tearing us all apart, took them away. Welfare and the policeman, he said you got to understand. Lord, you give to them what you can't give. Teach them how to really live. Teach them how to live, they said. Humiliated me instead. They taught us that, and they taught us this. Now others taught them prejudice when it took their children away. All the children away. Breaking our mother's heart, tearing us all apart, took them away. Now one dark day on Framingham, that's where I'm from, came and did not give a damn. And my mother cried, go get their dad. He came running, he was fighting mad. Mama's tears were falling down. Dad shaved up, stood his ground, and he said, you touch my kids, well, you gotta fight me, and now you fellas. And they took us from our family, took us away. Yeah, took us away. Snatched from our mother's breast, said this is for the best, took us away. Yeah. God taught us all white man's ways about, then they split us up again. Gave us gifts to ease the pain. Sent us off to the foster home. And as we grew up, we felt alone, 'cause we were acting white and feeling black. Get out of here. And one day, all the children came back. All the children came back. Yeah, yeah, the children came back. Back where their hearts go strong, back where they all belong. Children came back.
back to their mother's land. Children came back, back to their mother, back to their father, back to their sister, back to their brother, brother boy, back to their people, back to their land. Our children came back, children came back, our children came back. Yes, I came back. I'll just put my permaculture PowerPoint up here. I guess at this point, it's really, although permaculture came out of Tasmania in the late 1978 with the publication of Permaculture 1, and most Australians, if you ask them what permaculture is, they'll give you an answer. But unfortunately, it tends to gather, it's got a lot of baggage in terms of where it's seen in the Australian populace, very much in the backyard and to do with gardening and chooks. And so if you turn on the ABC, Gardening Australia, and Josh Burns is there, you'll see him in a Perth backyard, and he's mucking around with veggies and Braidwood'S systems, and he's got chooks and stuff like that. And so the concept of permaculture sort of goes into this pigeonhole. Yet, you know, we have, there's this ethical basis behind it, which is, you know, ethics that a lot of indigenous cultures had, looking after earth, looking after people, and sharing that surplus.
Einstein famously said, you can't fix a problem using the same consciousness that created it. And I think the challenge for us as a species, almost from a zoological perspective, is to expand our consciousness. That we need to expand, as well as holding the reality of the lives we lead, a much bigger picture, a planetary picture. Because if we don't, I think everything's too partial, and the contexts that governments are making decisions in are too almost tribal to meet the situation. And what I'm suggesting is that if we can grow those experiences that we all have, so that that becomes a point that we can take as our reference point. Because if we can all extend these boundaries in our own lives, so it suggests then as a community, as a culture, we can do that. And within our own communities, like talking of councils and things like that, it's hard work working with people you absolutely are ideologically opposed to. But we're getting actually called to extend ourselves, to find sustainable and peaceful and just ways of doing that. So in the transition from an unsustainable future to a sustainable future, I'm just putting forward the value of integrating within this what I see as the vital role of our hearts and our spirits, and the networks within our communities. This is one area we can infuse that.
We're trying to grapple with localism in the world of globalisation, and we don't think those things they've got to be seen together. That's the whole picture. Some of the work we're doing, we completed a project for Vic Health in Victoria, which is a wonderful health promotion agency, which invests in things like community art to create a sense of community for a health reason. And they asked us to evaluate the strategy around community arts, celebrations, and well-being as a preventative health strategy. And for that, we wrote a report which we call Creating Community. And in a nutshell, the key thing we're saying there is community is not a given. It's not a social structure. And it can only be really understood as a sense of community, which not only needs to be created once, but constantly recreated. It's an ongoing project. It's like saying community is a verb, not a noun. It's something you've got to keep doing. And it's not always going to work out. We tend to romanticize. It's often a warm and fuzzy word. Community can also be badly divided. It can be marginalise some people so they don't feel like they belong. It can be a narrow, it can be NIMBYism, it can be really all sorts of bad things, toxic for some people in the community who just don't feel that the notion of community that's been created is one that works for them. And it can be a backward-looking notion of community, which has already been, I think, mentioned briefly. And so community is something that needs to be added to this other popular phrase that's used a lot, social inclusion. There's another phrase that can be used in a very empty way. But if you add those two things together, the constant creation of community as an ongoing process, and to make it as inclusive as possible, to negotiate what it means with very complex multicultural communities. One example, we work in Broadmeadows in Melbourne, where almost half the population are born outside Australia. How do you create an inclusive sense of community in such complex communities of the modern world, and where people move so often? A lot of what we can do locally will be very much harder, and if we don't turn local governments around, if we don't drive them from below, and I think John's getting at that, get them to rethink what their strategy is, then the potential for action becomes harder and more narrow. So we won't get there, in my argument, is by an accretion of localisms. We have to operate simultaneously at the local level, the regional level, the national level, the global level. Not hard, not easy to do, but it becomes more possible when there are these global networks. And I guess what we're doing here is linking up with something that began in a small town in Ireland. And through the global networks becomes something we can pick up here. And we can start to plant that seed in our conditions in Australia.
I realised that that local government worked for the community, and that the transition town model is an ideal conduit to communicate community desire to local government. And so local government, in fact, is the critical arm of government. It is the arm of government that can actually give us the most action and help and assist the community to the greatest level, other than the state and the federal government, which obviously have roles to play, but this is the inroad. And obviously we've talked about the LEP and the local environment plan, and our local environment plan in Bega was due, is due any day now. I think it's well overdue, and that'll be set in stone for the next 20 years. And so we needed to have a community consultation to be able to put into that, and to actually have local government actively engaging the community to sculpt something that the community wanted. And the reason that I say what the community wanted, because it's only the community who know what they want. I mean, they know their history, they know how they arrived at this disastrous point in time, they know their infrastructure, and they know their natural energy systems. These are the people who are best positioned to design their future, because they know all the ingredients that have gone into creating what they are today, and most importantly, they know what they want for tomorrow, and that's critical. We all know what we want. We all want a better world. We all want a more secure world. We all essentially want the same things.
Yeah, well, I've been teaching permaculture, but I'm not there to teach it because I haven't done the permaculture design course, and I've had thousands of people in my place. But I'm getting more and more pressed as to what I'm going to tell. I've got a workshop next weekend. What I'm going to tell the people, because it's not bloody well working, because they're coming from Canberra or Sydney, they're not riding their push bike. I've got a bicycle. It's all right to ride a bicycle on Cuba, which is pretty flat. I'm 16 k's out of town, I'm 95 now, and I find the two main hills between my place and Braidwood'S are getting quite demanding, especially when the bloody environmentalists scream past me. On the way to Braidwood'S for a cafe latte, not even a black coffee. Can I speak about this tomorrow?
I'd love to.
Okay.